There we
Nice.
go.
There you go. All right, how you looking?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling great, man. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I feel
Man,
like
it's so,
I feel like I look big on my end. Let me see if I can fix myself. There we go.
there you go.
Fix myself up.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's all love, man. You are someone that is doing amazing things, not only for yourself but for your community.
I truly
Um,
appreciate that.
and when I met you at the Black Boy Art Show, I was definitely intrigued by what you were doing and just how your brand was, and just I like one thing that I remember that you told me. You was like, I was like, how's your mental health? And you was like, yo, touch that shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that impact of, like, you got to be able to feel it, like that
Absolutely.
was really impactful for me. It was like, and just not only that, it was like a sensory thing as well, right? Like, it was very much a sensory thing. It was something that I was like, even when people are in the space of like trying to figure out what's going on, if they are like mentally having, just an out of body or just a experience, sometimes you tell them that, what do you smell, what do you see, what's going on with you, and what can you feel, what can you touch. So I love that, man. I love that response, man, and it just definitely made me want to tap in with you, man, and see what's going on. How you been,
Yeah.
brother?
Hey, man. One day at a time. First and
Hmm.
foremost, I want to say I appreciate what you're doing. I truly appreciate it. You're doing positive, you're spreading positivity. You're bringing awareness, and we don't often see that. We don't often see that. We don't have to get that, especially in the atmosphere we're in right now.
Hmm.
So I truly want to say thank you and appreciate it. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm grateful to be in this space with you, honestly. So thank you once again.
I appreciate that, man. I thank you so much, brother. It means a lot. So your name, Stevenson.
Yes,
Stevenson,
sir.
yes, sir. What? And I usually don't ask this question, but I'm gonna ask today, man.
Of course.
What is the does your name have a meaning? Did you get it from someone particularly? Like, what's the backstory?
Yeah, of course. So I would say this doesn't have a meaning per se, but
Hmm.
I have a Haitian background, so I'm Haitian.
I was about
So
to say.
we
Hmm.
hate so
Hmm.
Haitian. We tend to have like we tend to have these names that kind of like circle around, like Jean, like Louis. We always have these names that circle around, and Stevenson is one of the names, but it's spelled differently the way my parents spelled it. So
Okay.
it's with a STI
Yep.
word versus a STE. We often see it as so. It's just a little unique way to spell my name, but honestly, it goes back to the culture of being a Haitian and what that means.
I love that, man. That's dope. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the history.
Of course.
Let me ask you a question. My first question to you is, what inspired the name, No One, right? Like, and how did the ideal for the brand first come? Like, what, just no one, like, that's different, So how did it come about?
Yeah, well, honestly, it was something where I felt I felt like I was alone. I didn't really feel like I had that community. I didn't have that space where I could call like, oh, I belong here. Even like having a group of friends, I felt like this is a space where excuse me, I don't necessarily feel like I could be myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt like I was alone. And I wanted to create a space, a community where people didn't have to feel like they're alone. They didn't have to feel like whatever they're going through in life that they were alone throughout that process. So I wanted to create a brand that involves community, which you don't often see sometimes. Like, I know brands we often talk about community, but I actually wanted to like create events where people come together and connect and really build a relationship with one another. So I came with the concept of no one. It's it's irony behind it. You know, you're calling yourself a no one, but reality you are someone that
Right.
you do have a community that you do belong.
Right.
So it's kind of like playing with the word of no one.
Hmm. So I love that, man. So you do have someone, you are a part of a community, but you felt
Absolutely.
alone at one point. Now
Yeah.
I want people to understand there's a big difference. He didn't say lonely. He said alone, right? So there's a big difference between alone and lonely. Now, alone is, you can detach from the crowd a little bit. You might still feel incorporated within the crowd, but you might feel like there's nothing, there's, like, there's not anyone you can, like, like, you don't see your community within that crowd sometime, right? So you might
Yeah,
feel alone. You might feel like, you might be a little isolated from people because your thoughts could be different, right? Depending on like your circumstances, your family life. But lonely is you feel detached. Excuse me. You feel detached from people. Like you feel like, no one can relate to you. You feel like you don't have anyone, right? Those are things that can also lead to depression when you feel like you're lonely. But you said
absolutely.
you feel like alone. So let me ask you, did you grow up with like, do you have brothers, sisters? Like what was it like within your household?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up with my siblings.
Hmm.
I think at one point, like, I had that separation where I kind of like grew up with my aunt. So it was like I had like that few years at this young age where I was with my siblings, and then as I got older, I probably said like middle school, it started to be like it was just me and my aunt, you know.
Hmm.
And I think that separation kind of like developed that aspect of going to school, coming back home, and it just kind of like keeping that cycle and not really developing that relationship. And I think that causes especially at a young age when you don't have that bond or that closeness, it can make you feel like disconnected, you know? So for
Mm,
me, I I kind of saw the way of like building that connection by doing activities in school or trying to be part of an after school program. So that way I just don't come home to emptiness, you know? I don't come home to just like nothing, yeah, just no one being there.
yeah,
So it kind of like encouraged me to like be out there a little bit more, encouraged me to just find that relationship with other people. So that way I don't that feeling doesn't stay with me. I'm just dealing by myself.
right. Wait, so you have brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
Okay. How many brothers or sisters do you have?
In total, you know, Haitian, we have a big family. I will honestly say in total, I have about five siblings.
Okay.
I have three brothers and two sisters.
Hmm. Three brothers, two sisters. Okay,
Hmm.
so do you all like stay together, live together?
No, no. So some of us are in Haiti. Some of them, like I would say, three of them are in Haiti. The rest, the two brothers I have here are here in the U.S.
Okay. So when you said you used to come home, you used to be by yourself at times. Were they older than you?
Yeah, they were older than me,
Okay.
so
And
it was
so
just go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so granted, you come home, brother's not around, were you raised by your aunt?
Yeah, I was raised by my aunt.
So your brother's not around, your aunt is home. You pretty much are like, you pretty much got time to yourself to really like, escape what's going on, but really, be adventurous, like really discover who you are as a person, really figure out what's happening. Were you like adventurous, or were you like kind of like, there's extroverted and then there's introverted? What would you say is your kind of personality?
I think I'm extroverted, but I
Hmm.
think the extrovert kind of grew in me because I spent a lot of time being alone. I
Hmm.
spent a lot of time, like, granted, like, my two brothers, they were with my father, you know?
Okay.
Like, so I still had that connection with my father and I still had that connection with my brothers. It was just more like we kind of grew in separate households. You
Mm.
know, like, I would visit them throughout the summer and spend time with them. Like, if I need to talk to my dad, I'll call my dad and speak to him. But,
Mm.
like, I would say, like, throughout the school year, it felt like I would go home and no one's really there.
Yeah.
And like you know, parents are working and
Right.
it's a lot. It's a lot, especially the position she was in at the time. It was a lot. She was doing what she gotta do. And because I spent so much time being by myself,
Right.
it kind of grew to be like when I have friends, I'm gonna be talking to them, I'm gonna be extrovert, you know, I'm gonna talk as much as I can, let it all out because I'm so used to not having anyone there. So all those thoughts and emotions that I want to express, they kind of bubbled up to a point
Mm.
where it's like it kind of helped me with my personality to be more open, to be more vulnerable
I
when I do
see.
have friends.
Right. I see. I see. So I get you. So all right. So you coming home, you working, you trying to figure you discovering new things. Your mom and dad is in Haiti,
Yeah,
or
well,
just
yeah, my dad is here, my mom is in Haiti. Yep.
your mom? Okay. At what moment in your life you decided like, yo, you know what? They need this brand. They need this. This is who I am. I'm about to present this to the world.
Um, that one was in college. It was my
Hmm.
college. I was like my freshman year. Freshman year in college. I wanted to do something where, like, I wanted to create a brand. I wanted to create a message where I could bring people together. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And I just kept like, and I was like, let me be real. Let me be honest with myself. What's something I truly feel? That's something that I want to connect with. Because if you want to build something, you want to build something that you have experienced or you could speak of. Because
That's the
oftentimes people are gonna ask you like, where's the story coming from? Like
yeah,
what does it mean to you?
yeah.
So it's powerful when you can resonate to it, when you could actually have a story relating to it. And that was my story, being the fact that I grew up with spending a lot of my time alone, spending a lot of my days trying to figure out, okay, how can I meet other people? How can I get myself out there so that way I don't necessarily have to go throughout my whole entire day just by myself.
I
So it
like
was
that.
just that concept.
Yeah. So college gave you that stepping stone. Were you involved in like fashion shows or whatever, or was it just like you were creating and then once you left, you pretty much figured out like, okay, this is what I have. This is how I want to present this.
So I created and I started in college. So
Nice.
I created like my freshman year, and then don't get me wrong, I was not into fashion at all, and I think fashion, like I don't think when I created the brand, like I don't think I wasn't trying to like make some high fashion product. I wasn't trying to be the next Louis Vuitton or Gucci or
Okay.
anything like that. It was
It
just
was the
more like
message.
the message. It was a
Mm,
purpose. I didn't really like I didn't really get into like the whole fashion part of it. It was more like the message, and then later on, the more I kept playing around with like design, playing up with materials, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get into this now. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I could, I'm like talking to manufacturers. Like oftentimes I see a high quality product. Like if I see a high quality shirt or something, I ask the person, hey, do you mind if I look at your shirt? Like, do you mind if I touch your shirt? And anything like that, because it kind of build that thought in my process, like, okay, this is a product I want to put my message on.
Facts. I like what you said earlier, though. You said something earlier that intrigued me. You was like, yo, if I'm gonna create this brand, I want to know, like, I could see, like, you all, like, it was like you were saying, I could see myself still in the
Hmm.
brand, but also I'm presenting it. So I read something one day, and it was like, you want to create a brand that still represents you. Like it
Absolutely.
still represents you. It's not like taking away from you as a person. So my question to you is, how do you continue the brand, right? The no one brand, and then you also continue your message at the same time. Because I was looking at your
Mm.
videos, and I remember, excuse me, I don't have the you went around and you were asking questions like, how do you feel like no something you were asking everyone
Hmm.
at one particular time, and I remember I tagged you in it. How do you still create the brand and still get the message out at the same time? Because
Yeah,
right,
of course.
because granted, you still want to create something that people like, people want to consume. You know what I mean? People
Hmm.
still want to wear fashionably. It still can look good on people, but you also want to make sure it still gets that no one brand, that no one marketing. Just that the full picture out there. How do you do
Absolutely.
that?
That's a very good question. Very good question. Sorry, I keep fixing my camera. But
No,
hey,
you're all right.
the thing I, okay, the thing I'm holding on is keep moving. All right.
Hmm.
Like I said, great question. I think honestly, it's one of those things where, like the video you're referring to is when I started asking people about like, have you ever felt like you're not enough?
There you go.
Have you ever felt like, is there a time in life where you felt like you're not worthy? And the reason why I started video is because it's our current clothing line right now called I'm Enough, the I'm Enough
Hmm.
hoodie. And we asked that because at times in life I felt like, so that's why I created I'm Enough, because that's something I felt. Especially as a young man navigating. I'm in my 20s. Navigating my 20s. Sometimes it can feel like you're lost. It can feel like whatever you're doing, you're not on the right track,
Yeah.
and it's so quick to feel like you're not enough, you're not worthy, especially when things don't look right or they don't
Hmm.
feel right. So when I created that, I want to know if other people haven't felt that.
Hmm.
So I was curious to hear about people's stories, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I love about about the brand is that this feeling I'm enough, it could look completely different from you.
Yeah.
It could look like there's probably a point in your life, or maybe you're currently feeling that, like I'm not enough, whether it's through
Yeah.
family, whether it's through work, whether it's through a
Hmm.
romantic relationship, or through a
Hmm.
friendship. So it's just a different avenue. And I want to hear people about their stories and how they can relate to it. And it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful to hear the stories. It's beautiful to people still going through those experiences. And
Yeah.
like it's just stories, just a story, just different stories of people telling it. And I don't know, I think it's just amazing to experience that, to hear that. And to like closing this up to answer your question, I think that when certain the message that I go through my life, I feel like people can relate, or people like stories look different, but it still has that theme.
Yeah,
So the I'm enough, like I said, I feel like I'm not worthy, especially because of my goals. Sometimes I feel short on them.
yeah.
But someone might feel that because something that their parents have said to them,
But I
something that
love
a partner could say to them.
Yeah, I love that story though, man, because a lot of kids, especially, we all felt like that, like you said, at times growing up. There's many moments in your life you feel like you're not enough. You feel
Absolutely.
like, there's other people better than you. You feel like there's places that you don't belong. And even when you finally get into those places, sometimes you feel like you have imposter
Hmm.
syndrome, like I'm
Yep.
not even supposed to be here. Am I really doing this? I have that as a counselor sometime. Like I remember when I first started being that, and I was just like, yo, is this really who I am? Right? Because you also step in this place. Not only when you see people like doctors or with their
Hmm.
professional skills, you still have values and beliefs that you come with, but you also have to now have a new identity within this space. But you still want to be yourself. So sometimes, like you said, you feel like, yo, I'm not enough, but I know I am enough. But I have to you know, have that internal talk with myself and have that
Understood.
confidence to push forward. And I think that's beautiful. And you mentioned something earlier when you said you look at the quality of stuff. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you still are like, okay, I know the brand, I know the message, but I still look at the quality. So even though mentally I'm asking you, how did you feel like, did you have a moment where you felt like you weren't enough? But you still got this quality shirt on, sort of like
Absolutely.
Supreme. You still got this
Hmm.
quality on. You still rocking this and representing this, but you still feel like you know you could be enough, or maybe not enough in certain spaces. And
No,
that's
absolutely.
yeah, that's really good. Um,
Absolutely.
have you ever had a moment? Has so far since you've been within the brand and taking just doing bigger and better things, has anyone shared a story with you about your brand that has been very impactful, or something that has been like, yo, thank you for telling me that?
I think a lot of times when people tell their stories on camera, and also when people tell their stories off camera, but one that I can remember clearly, like it's the reason why I'm still going. Even there's times where you don't achieve the goals in terms of your sales, or like the quality doesn't meet the ones that you put out there.
Yeah,
Um, this one, this one person, she told me to this day, I still remember. She told me, your brand reminds me that like to keep going. It reminds me that no matter the space I am, like I belong here.
that's right.
Um, just to give a little background to understand that story, this young lady came to me and she was the only Muslim woman in the space, and she was telling me how like I feel like at times that I'm alone. I feel like at times like I don't really have a support system because I'm the only Muslim black woman in the space.
Hmm.
And she told me like your brand reminds me that regardless of where I'm at, like I'm not alone, that I do have a community. It just may not be represented right now in the space, but it is there. It is there, and I do have that space and that feeling it is shared with other people. When she said that, and this is like I was mind blown because I didn't ask her to share that story. That was
Yes.
something she felt comfortable sharing. And to think a brand, just the message itself can mean so much to someone,
Hmm.
and it just mind blowing to me. To me, it was beautiful. It was a moment of vulnerability, and I
That's
think
right.
that's what I like about my brand is that honestly, I tell people this all the time. They don't believe me. I could care less if you buy the actual product. Like, don't get me wrong, that's what the revenue is coming in,
We do want
but
the money. He does want
we
the
do,
money.
we do want the revenue. We do want the revenue, but in a sense of I want you to like I would want you to be comfortable with what you're getting. You know, I want you to be comfortable, and I want you to be able to feel good about yourself. I want you
Yeah,
to come out with this of like, oh, I do have a community. Oh, my feelings are shared. You know, I
I
want people
love
to
that, man.
feel good about themselves,
Mm.
regardless of the stories or the impact or the experience that they have gone through.
I love that, man. And don't ever sell yourself short. I mean, like people go out and purchase Louis Vuitton, purchase Gucci,
Yeah, that's
purchase
true.
all right, all of these brands, and they feel a connection to them. Right, regardless, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I can't afford that, but I'm gonna reach and stretch to get that. And when I get that, I feel like now I'm a part of the community that
Yeah.
looks like I made it, I've done it, and I've became someone, right? And so those are it's an emotional kind of bond that you're having with the clothing, right? Like you are
Absolutely.
feeling like, okay, I'm now immersed with this. I feel good with this, and it
Yeah.
makes people feel like they're up here, right? And if for anything, Louis Vuitton is one, if not the richest brand of clothing that is out there. Bernard Arnault, one of the richest men in the world, also, was the owner of that, and you know. I know you're speaking in a different fashion, but in the same sense, you do have something of quality because that no one I am enough brand, that connects with people who can literally relate to that on some way, shape,
Absolutely.
form, or fashion. And you just got to keep putting in the work, man, and you're doing it, and you're gonna get there, man.
I
Facts.
appreciate it. I appreciate you as well, man. We
Yeah,
need more. We need more positive conversation like this.
yeah,
I
man.
like even as black men too. I think it's important that we see each other in these spaces, talk and uplifting each other.
Yeah.
Uplifting each other, supporting each other mentally and also like business as well too. I think it's just one. It gives that awareness of
Mm-hmm.
how mental health is important, how it's important to have this conversation, how it's important it is to be vulnerable with other men of
Mm-hmm.
color. Not necessarily indicate that you're weak or anything like that, but a form of strength,
We
a
know that.
form of unity,
That's
because we
right.
all go through something. And I think it's important that sometimes we don't always express it right away. And I understand everyone has their own different level of comfort,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think it's important to have this conversation and to see it. Oftentimes we don't see it, so it makes
We,
it feel like it's impossible,
right, right.
but
But
it's
you
here.
But you said something also that was great. The thing is the mental health aspect of it, and what you represent is also was like you didn't even, and I didn't even look. I don't look at it as a weak story. I look at it as very unique and intriguing because you're like, yo, I felt alone, and that's how I ended up creating my brand, right? And that's how art is created, and that's how a lot of things come
Hmm.
about is through those moments, right? They call them crucibles, right? So sometimes you have crucible moments in your life where you go through something that is excruciating. And in the process of that, the real you comes out on the other end of that
Mm.
crucible moment. So we all go through crucibles. I have several moments in my life where I went through crucibles, but I appreciate you saying that. And that leads me into my mental health segment now. All right, all right. So, with that being said, man, as the founder of is it No One or I Am Enough?
No one.
As the founder of No One,
Hmm.
how do you manage your own mental wealth while pouring into others?
That's a great question. A really great question. I really like that question a lot. I think we should often ask that to a lot of business owners too, because that's something that they always talk about.
Hmm.
Um, to answer your question, I'm a big person of mental health. I truly feel like if I'm not there mentally, then how can I support and pour into others?
Right.
And the way I navigate my mental health is multiple avenues. I would say I go therapy.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of therapy. I think we all should have some form of to try it out at least. Um, Therapy. I also do journaling. I I talk. I pray.
Hmm.
Um, While I pray, I also go to the gym as well. I think I'm a big fitness person now. I got into it through my friends in college.
Hmm.
Now I'm just continuing that concept,
I love
working on
it,
my
man.
mental, working on my physical body. Because when you feel good, you know like the energy. It's a different energy that you
That's
walk
right. That's
around with.
right.
So, and of course, spend time with friends and family. I think that bonding time with other people is a beautiful thing. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful experience, and I would encourage people to have different avenues because something is not there. You also have this to help you as well too.
Yeah, yeah, I loved everything you said, man, and I second all of those things because those are initially the basics when it comes to like how do I keep myself in a sane place and make sure my mental health is doing well. You mentioned something like going to the gym, and a lot of people, one thing they tell you, get your body moving, lift those
Mhm.
weights. The chemicals that come out of your muscles in your body while you're working out is equivalent to going to at times talking to a therapist and working through
Hmm.
it, though you still need your therapist or your counselor to give you those to set that goal, because goals are extremely important,
Absolutely.
or to give you those practices that working out will make you feel better, and it's healthy, it's good for your skin, your body. I tell people that all the time, like you just said, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel
Hmm.
good, you play good. If you play good, to pay good. To pay good, then life's good, baby. You know how it goes. Deion
That's
Sanders
beautiful.
even has that. So that's
That's
a beautiful
beautiful.
quote.
That is
um
beautiful. Cool.
yeah,
Wait,
thank you.
before we move on, I do want. I'm curious to know what is your form of like. How do you navigate your mental health? How do you take care of yourself?
Man, I meditate.
Mm.
I do deep breathings. I go for walks. When I start feeling like there's a feeling in me that I can't get out, that's kind of like it feels like it's negative or it just feels a discomfort, I pray. I talk to people that I trust. I've
Mm.
learned you can't always vent to everyone. I've
Yeah.
learned, because vents vent to other rooms, right? So
Mm.
you got to make sure when you vent to people, it's someone you trust, someone you love, someone that has your back. A lot of times, even things I've go through, sometimes I'll be wanting to tell my mom, or I want to, but I know some people are going to be biased towards it. They're going to not really have the right kind of response that I want towards it. So I need to make sure I find that circle that I trust. I go by
Absolutely.
water. I go by water. I love going to the beach or like hanging out near some water, just vibing, man. And I make sure that I also learned that like finances play a part of my mental health at times.
Absolutely.
So I need to make sure my money's right. Like I need to make sure I have a budget. I'm not overspending.
Hmm.
I need to make sure I'm spending it also on events, like more so things that make me happy, not just like materialism, but things that make me, like I might go, zip lining or something like that, or I might, go and go to another city just for the thrill of it. So those are
Nice.
things that I utilize when it comes to my mental health. We could talk for days about that though. So
That's that's
yeah,
beautiful.
great. Thank you, man. Great question.
Oh,
Um, in your
glad you.
opinion, what does it mean to build your mental health? Not just, like stability, but like in abundance in today's world. Like abundantly, like there's things that I'm sure you want, right? Like within
Hmm.
your own life and your brand. So let me know, let me rephrase this question then. What role does the community play when it comes to your brand and like your healing and self-awareness, of things? So what role does that play for you?
I play a big role.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I think of the community, I think of like group of people who need that space to connect with others,
Mm-hmm.
people who truly want to build connection, but sometimes they might be afraid. They might feel like they might be judged. So when I try to create this community, I think of like community events where, or even space like this on the live, where people could talk about vulnerable stages in their life or times where people could really find one another and connect. I understand sometimes vulnerability is based on comfort.
True.
So I truly feel like I create spaces where people, those who are able to be vulnerable, they can start the conversation so that way others can feel comfortable to speak up about it. Or
Mm-hmm.
even just the opportunity where others can meet, when they can meet each other and spend quality time. I think sometimes that we often forget that there are some people who are not on social media, but they're struggling right there mentally because they feel like they don't have anyone to hang out with.
Right.
Like, they make good amount of money or they feel comfortable in sense of financially or wherever they're right now in life, but they don't have that friend. They don't have that place they can go to hang out or to clear their mind. So I try to create this brand where people can have that safe space where to hang out, connect with others, be vulnerable. I understand it's not gonna always be the case, but it's a goal to like kind of create those events where people could actually experience that. And it
Yeah.
plays such a big role to my mental health because I love meeting people. I love connecting with people. Even having this
Same.
conversation with you right now, it's building up the dopamine in my mind. It's making me feel good about today. It's helping me with my mental health
I love
because
that.
I'm building a connection, but at the same time I'm learning. You just brought an idea earlier when you mentioned about how finding such a big comfort in your mental health. That is such a big comfort in my mental health too.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't even realize it until you said it. Like I don't think that's something I would say. I mean, I didn't say when you asked me, "Hey, what are some ways that you take care of yourself mentally?" I didn't mention that, but it's such a big role.
Hmm.
But this is what I mean about how important it is for like to connect with people, to learn from them.
That's right.
So it's important to my mental health because it feeds me, it helps me learn more.
That's right, man. I love that, man. And the biggest part about all of this is, you know, we all play a part in a body, a
Absolutely.
big body of in this society. And your role and what you have going on and what is going on within your own space is unique to you, but it's also important to growth in society. As long as we all moving forward and we're all doing things progressively to get better, then society gets better, you know? But once
Hmm.
even amongst like when it's negative things that's happening and going on, we still can improve. Because really, what it is essentially is like if I get better 100, if I work on myself,
Hmm.
in that way I'm able to pour out into others when I'm stepping out as someone that has worked on myself, healing, being
Hmm.
self-aware, right, taking care of my mental health, like you said, the fitness part, journaling, doing all of these things, then that's one more person who's now interjected into life that's going to give off a good vibe. But at
Absolutely.
times, you run into people who don't have that luxury or don't choose to take a part of that, and then what you get is sometimes you receive their negative energy or just a disdain for who they are as a person. And now you have to figure out, how do I not allow this person to bother me and affect me, right? And all of that comes with self-awareness and mental health at the same time. So you doing the
Absolutely.
work, brother, and you putting in the work, and that's great to see.
I
My
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. My last question for you. I got, well, my last question here. Remember, I want to tell y'all, this is mental wealth. Please normalize therapy. All right,
Absolutely.
normalize emotional literacy. Normalize your mental wellness. And me and my man right here, Stevenson, we doing this through culturally grounded conversations and education, and we
Absolutely.
doing this through fashion. He talking about fashion right now. This the number one. He's gonna be big, number one when it comes to clothing, when
Thank
it comes to his art. So y'all tap in. All right. Just want to
appreciate
let
it.
y'all know that. So if you met someone that was struggling, right? Like struggling
Hmm.
with who they are as a person, what would you want them to feel with when they were able to purchase a piece of your clothing?
I want them to feel good about themselves. I want them to feel comfortable. I think comfort is the biggest thing. I usually ask people this question when they purchase hoodie: can you try it out? Are you comfortable with the size? Are you comfortable with how it feels? The
Hmm.
reason why I say that is because when you're comfortable with yourself and how you're feeling, you're allowed to be vulnerable. You're allowed to open up your mind more because now it's like, I feel good. I'm comfortable. I'm in a safe space. Okay, let me try something else. You're more willing to try something that's not probably your normal routine.
True.
That's not something that you would usually do because you're comfortable. Now you're allowing your space where it's like, okay, I'm aware of myself. I feel good about myself. Let me say this because now I'm good with me. So I truly want people to feel good about themselves. I want them to feel heard. I want them to be able to say like, okay, I'm comfortable now. This is how I feel. This is my story, and I'm acknowledging your story. I'm
Hmm.
acknowledging who you are. I'm acknowledging your comfort. I'm
Hmm.
acknowledging your vulnerability. So I want that person to feel good about themselves because at the end of the day, that's why I create this brand. I create this brand to spread awareness that you are enough. You are good
Right.
enough. You are not alone. You do have a community. So people feel good because sometimes we go through life is hard, man.
That's
It is
true.
hard. It is hard, and it's important that people don't feel like they don't have you don't have to go through that process alone. I know
Hmm.
it's easier said than done, but having a space where you could just even have a 5 minutes or 10 minutes of whatever that's like causing that pain or that damage, 5 minutes or 10 minutes away, coming to an event that's making you feel good about yourself could
Yeah,
change how you view or how you experience that hardship.
that's right.
So it's all about that.
Appreciate you for sharing that, brother. That was deep. And I wish you best of luck on
Thank
your
you.
brand. I know you're gonna do big things on your brand. Keep it up.
You as well,
And
man.
that's, of course, man, that's extremely important. My question for you last is, how can people find you? How can they find you?
Yeah, of course. So, No One Community, that's our Instagram. If you're
Hmm.
wearing hoodie, noonecommunity.com. Um, Listen, we're always willing. I'm trying to do more community events. I'm trying to be more
Hmm.
out there at tabling events so I can meet and hear more people's stories.
I think your phone
So,
falling.
oh,
Yep.
there you go. Thank you.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I'm going to like go to more community events. So just to hear people's stories and connect. Like, listen, man, we're all in this together. Believe it or not, we all go through hardship. I think it's just reminding you
Mhm.
that you don't have to go through it alone. Hey, once
Facts.
again, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for letting me to speak with
Hey,
you, man.
no problem, man. For them, if they want to purchase a hoodie, is it on No One? You have a website, or just
Yes.
go to your? Okay, what's your website?
So it's called nooneCommunity.com.
Okay, No One, just all one word.
On one word,
No One.
nooneCommunity.com.
All right.
If you also go on our Instagram too, the link is in our bio as well.
Okay, I'll definitely share that when I repurpose this video. Well, thank you so much, Stevenson, man. It's a blessing, man. Look, we gotta get together in a few months, man.
All right.
Couple about a
Love
year,
that.
maybe a few months, just check in, see how's everything going, man. But I know you're on your way. I want everybody to know you stepping in and talking to the number one podcast out there, Mental Wealth, when it comes to
Yes,
this.
sir.
All right, and you talking to this gentleman who's gonna be the number one designer. And even if not, they always say if I ain't number one, I'm right where I need to be. Right?
Exactly.
Whoever's up there, I'm right where I need to be. So trust and believe that, man. I wish you all the best of luck, brother, and peace. I'll see you later, man. Peace out.
You as well. Take care of yourself,
All
man.
right,
Thank
yep.
you for the opportunity.